In this episode of Everyday Movie Recap, we will discuss the film How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000. This famous Dr. Seuss story is about the grumpy Grinch and his evil plans to steal Christmas from the people of Whoville. The film begins by presenting a location above the mountains in a small village called Whoville. The folks there adore Christmas. Except for Grinch, who lives just north of Whoville, they always feast and try to celebrate it with tremendous fanfare. The scene shifts to four youngsters searching for Grinch's location. Two teenage boys wanted to knock on the door when they reached the top. But then a terrifying apparition approaches, which turns out to be the Grinch's trap. The four teenagers were astonished and terrified, and they fled back to Whoville. Grinch, on the other hand, gets weary of the kids who harass him every Christmas. He then summoned Max, his devoted companion since childhood. Grinch intends to teach the residents of Whoville a lesson. The story continues with Grinch in the town of Whoville. He arrived wearing both a robe and a mask. The Grinch purposefully crashes into everyone and causes mayhem in order to halt the Christmas celebrations. Cindy, on the other hand, still doesn't comprehend what makes Christmas so magical. Her father, Lou, was attempting to explain. But then the four teens who had previously tormented Grinch appeared, screaming in terror and calling out Grinch's name. It piqued the interest of many people. The mayor, May, then appeared. He cautioned the four teenagers not to bother Grinch and to keep the Christmas celebration operating smoothly. The mayor then informed the citizens that they did not need to be concerned. The focus changes to Lou, who is on his way to deliver letters to consumers. He was feeling a little overwhelmed, so he requested that Cindy assist him in putting one of the letters in the back room. Meanwhile, Grinch purposefully switched all of the letters, making people miserable when they misunderstood them. As Cindy appeared in the back room, Grinch had to hide. However, the mask he was wearing slid off by accident. Cindy took up the mask and glanced up. Grinch terrified Cindy into putting the toddler in the sorting machine after she screamed. Grinch was about to leave when Max chewed his cloak, causing Grinch to save Cindy. Grinch eventually grabbed Cindy and reprimanded her. The Grinch then opened the door, but Cindy's thank you stopped him. Cindy thanked him sincerely. She thought Grinch was nice. But Grinch was not pleased. To retain his harsh reputation, the Grinch wrapped Cindy up like a Christmas present. Cindy shouted for her father, and Lou ran over and tore the paper that was covering her. Lou then thinks that Cindy is learning how to wrap a gift. She did not tell her father about her encounter with Grinch. She is still perplexed as to why everyone believes Grinch is bad when, in truth, Grinch has a heart. The fact that he saved Cindy is proof. They both went home after that. Cindy's mother, Betty, installed a twinkle light in their home. Betty is motivated to surpass the radiance of a candle. Martha is the name of the neighbor next door. Grinch, on the other hand, returns to the mountain summit via the waste disposal machine he has made his home. Grinch activates his innovation tool, which he created to alleviate loneliness. He checks his phone for texts or phone calls, but no one messages him. Grinch attempted to console himself by claiming that his current situation was ideal, but what he really needs is someone to talk to. Grinch even spoke in his own voice, as seen in the cave mirror. Cindy then visits two old women to learn more about Grinch's origins. Cindy also wonders why Grinch despises her. Christmas. It turns out that the story begins on Christmas Eve, when numerous babies use parachutes to fall from the skies. The wind blew hard, causing a tiny Grinch to become entangled in a tree. The two people discovered and nurtured Grinch. When I was in school, the teacher reminded the kids that tomorrow was Christmas and that they all needed to bring gifts for their special friends. Cindy not only asked the two women but also Martha and May, Grinch's classmates. May stated that he disliked Grinch, who stood out from the other occupants, but Grinch refused to give up. He is excitedly preparing a unique gift for Martha. After finishing his present, he saw hairs on his face and grabbed the shaver. Grinch arrived at school. Friends came to exchange presents. Only Grinch remained, who had refused to accept his gift. He also appeared to be wearing a mask over his face. The teacher persuaded Grinch to remove his face mask. The Grinch, on the other hand, was always trying to hide his actual feelings. The teacher persuaded Grinch further. After cutting his facial hair, the Grinch felt compelled to display his freckled face, hair. Grinch's entrance and the gifts he made the entire room giggle. At the time, the Grinch felt offended and wounded. He threw the presents before raising the Christmas tree. The Grinch fastened his gaze on Martha but said nothing. He quickly fled, obviously showing his dislike for Christmas. Grinch locked eyes with Martha and then went without saying anything. Grinch then elected to sequester himself in the Whoville Mountains, leaving Martha to collect up the gifts he had produced. That was the last time Martha saw Grinch in town, according to Martha. Grinch is now standing in the cave, spewing venom at the residents of Whoville. Grinch realized it was Christmas tomorrow, so he dashed into the cave to relax. Mayor May, on the other hand, declared that a nomination for chairmaster in Whoville will take place tonight. Cindy's voice was suddenly heard, declaring that she had chosen Grinch as chairmaster. Mayor May is opposed to Cindy's advice, but Cindy counters by stating that the entire population of Whoville accepted Cindy's idea to present the chairmaster to the resident who needs it the most at Christmas, which is Grinch. The entire population of Whoville accepted Cindy's idea, compelling Mayor May to adopt it. The Whoville's people awakened the Grinch from his slumber in the cave with their singing of Christmas tunes. Grinch caused a disturbance in order to hide the noise. Meanwhile, Cindy began climbing the mountain by herself. She then entered by knocking on the door. Cindy bravely addressed Grinch. When Grinch realized she was there, he stopped the chaos and yelled at Cindy for daring to enter his house without permission. Grinch kept trying to scare Cindy, but she wasn't worried at all. She even thought Grinch was amusing. Grinch finally gave up and asked Cindy what she wanted. Cindy later revealed that someone had invited Grinch to a Christmas Eve party. Grinch then chuckled, thinking Cindy's invitation was a joke. Cindy pursued Grinch and then stated that Grinch had to attend the celebration to accept the accolade as chairmaster. Grinch was soothed by the word appreciation. Cindy went on to say that Martha, the woman Grinch used to admire, will be at the celebration. Grinch eventually decided to show up. Grinch brings Cindy to the front door, then presses a button, causing Cindy to fall and into the disposal machine, which transports Cindy away to Whoville's. Grinch is beginning to consider what he will wear to the celebration. All of his attire is out of date, but there was a startling sound of someone blowing a trumpet. The Grinch then stole the man's clothes to use as party attire. Grinch is finally ready to depart, and Max makes room for him. When the mayor arrives at the Christmas Eve party, he summons Grinch to accept the trophy. But the Grinch hasn't arrived yet. While everyone was waiting, the garbage disposal machine took out Grinch, causing him to collide with other items and land on top of Martha. Everyone was stunned to see Grinch and remained silent. Then Grinch inquired about the location of the Chairmaster trophy. Mayor May then suggested that Grinch hold a family reunion with the two women who raised him the first time. The two women then approached Grinch and assisted him in putting on a new sweater. They also invited Grinch to sit in the choirmaster's chair. The organizers served Grinch a lot of pudding and encouraged him to play jump sack. Grinch garnered a lot of enthusiastic votes for winning the race. Until it was time to give gifts, Grinch opened the gift, which turned out to be a shaver. The tool reminded Grinch of the past, intensifying his disdain for Christmas. Mayor May also unveiled more gifts for Martha, including rings and fancy cars. Martha stood speechless, but then the Grinch purposefully scratched the car. He transforms into the Grinch and scolds everyone. Grinch's actions knock Martha out, and everyone else flees in terror. After that, the Grinch set fire to the Christmas tree and stole a small automobile. He then collided with items, causing his car to explode and endure damage. Mayor May, on the other side, expressed his displeasure with Lou and Cindy. Cindy sadly stated that all she wanted was for everyone to feel the warmth of Christmas. Grinch laughed happily, believing he had succeeded in killing the joy of Christmas. However, the residents of Whoville can still sing and laugh together. A new Christmas tree has replaced the one he torched. Grinch went to his house, irritated. It horrified him to picture cheerful children. The Grinch was always determined to put a stop to Christmas. He had the terrible idea to disguise himself as Santa Claus and steal all the Christmas presents. He soon began creating Santa Claus hats and robes. He then made a carriage. When the Grinch learns that Santa's sleigh has vanished, he drags Max into a reindeer. He then drove away in his own carriage. The train slowed to a stop just above the roof before entering through the chimney. Grinch became trapped, but he didn't give up and eventually made it down. To collect all of the gifts, the Grinch employs a tool. Furthermore, he eats the food stored in the refrigerator. When Grinch was preparing to leave to bring a Christmas tree, Cindy awoke and spotted Grinch, whom she mistook for Santa Claus. The Grinch successfully duped Cindy. Cindy duped the Grinch into thinking he had come to provide gifts to everyone. Cindy then reminded Santa not to forget about the Grinch. Cindy feels that even though Grinch is nasty, he only does it because he is lonely. When Grinch heard her, he thought of Cindy as a good girl who was bad at judging people's personalities. Cindy's kind words meant nothing to Grinch. He continues his vengeful actions by slipping into the houses of the citizens of Whoville and stealing their gifts. After gathering all of the gifts, Grinch cuts the light cable, causing Whoville to become dark. Grinch gets ready to leave, but his homemade train doesn't operate. He then orders Max to pull the carriage to the top of the mountain, where he will dispose of and destroy the gifts. The citizens of Whoville soon awoke from their rest. Everyone gathers around the mayor, wondering who destroyed Christmas. Grinch is the only possible suspect. Mayor May also blames Cindy for inviting the Grinch to Whoville. Lou refuses to accept it since they blame his daughter. He was pleased that the Grinch had snatched all of the gifts. He was content, even though there were no gifts or a big party. Christmas should not be about gifts or the most spectacular light show, but about everyone sharing warmth and love with one another. Lou's statement was known and agreed upon by the people of Whoville. They no longer consider gifts before hugging. Cindy then went to meet Grinch, who was now attempting to push his carriage. Grinch was startled to hear cheerful singing coming from Whoville. The voice became louder and more enthusiastic. He dashed in front of the cave. You can see the residents of Whoville holding hands and singing Christmas carols from there. This perplexed Grinch. He hesitated, then realized that Christmas did not come from characters, it came from a heart full of love and had a deeper significance than he realized. Grinch felt an ache in his chest as his heart began to beat again. Grinch couldn't decide whether he should be joyful or sad. The light rose, accompanied by the warmth of a grizzly's heart. He, too, shed tears before asking Max to hug him. Max warns Grinch after they hug. The Grinch was afraid his train would derail. The Grinch, who had transformed into a loving individual, did not want the reward to be destroyed. Grinch dashed and jumped to pull the train rope. Fortunately, Grinch was able to obtain the rope. Unfortunately, he lacked the strength to keep it down. Grinch was about to give up when he noticed Cindy on the train and told her that she had come to make sure Grinch wasn't lonely. Cindy's remarks moved Grinch to tears. Grinch saved the train, which was ready to fall, by holding it with all his power. They then rode together in the direction of Whoville. The train was moving too quickly. Betty and Martha jumped right into action. They used the cable to obstruct the train. Lou heroically stood in front of the train, which thankfully came to a halt. Everyone is wishing me a Merry Christmas. Grinch acknowledges his error and apologizes. He surrendered to the mayor. The mayor, on the other hand, elected to forgive and release Grinch. Martha, on the other hand, appeared and returned the ring Mayor May had given her. She explained she couldn't accept May's proposal because her heart was already with Grinch. When the mayor heard that Grinch was joyful, he extended his hand as a peace sign. The Grinch also celebrates Christmas by turning on the Christmas tree lights. Everyone sings along, even Grinch, who used to despise Christmas. However, thanks to Cindy's assistance, he is able to discover the true meaning of Christmas and be happy with his family.